Show me how you love. I have field tested the products that I had made in a previous video. I'll probably put a picture down below that I uploaded a little while ago. And today is the video where I'm going to we're going to go through the product. Heavy Play Ultimate Guard Katana sleeves. Okay, they're not just katana, it's not a brand. Ultimate Guard sleeves, which are, I got the katana ones. And then the Dragon Shield sleeves. One deck here, Heavy Play sleeves. We're going to talk about this one. We have a deck here, Heavy Play deck box and die box, token box, katana sleeves. This one, Heavy Play deck box, Dragon Shield sleeves. This one, just katana sleeves. Okay, so there's different levels of usage. I'm a little biased because this is a newer deck I made, so I didn't use it much to begin with, but I don't know what it is. I don't like the Heavy Play sleeves. There is something about them. Their standout feature is the rounded corners. It's actually, maybe turn it this way. The rounded bottoms, which I do think is a nice thing about the sleeve. I do think that it fits the bottom portion of the card actually pretty nicely. But then if you look at the difference between a Dragon Shield sleeve that this commander is in and this sleeve, if you look at the top of them, they still have the Ultimate Guard, or I'm sorry, the Ultra Pro effect with the tops of the cards, where they are very close to the top, not as close as the Ultra Pros, but closer than the Dragon Shields are. And then sometimes when you're shuffling, the card just likes to slip up, and it just it gets right on the edge, and it's just, for someone like me, that annoys me. And then one of the other things I wanted to talk about is, I'll grab a group of them here before actually doing it though, but is that the backs of these cards definitely have their own distinct, or of these sleeves have their own distinct feel compared to the majority of the other sleeves I've used, I will say. And whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, it depends on your personal taste. These are not a texture that I like. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it, but there's the thinness to the back material that is perfectly fine at blocking the card. You can't see through it or anything, so that's not an issue, but it has a thickness that is way different than any of the other sleeves I've used, and it just feels weird, and I just don't like the shuffle feel of it, really. I think that if you aren't a texture person like me, that these sleeves genuinely act like they shuffle well. Like if I was, you know, more in tune and okay with the texture of the back of them or the feel of the back of them, I do think that they actually have a decent shuffle feel. And I'm not a great shuffler, so they're not bad sleeves. I feel like it's not necessarily biased, but it's just from the start, I haven't been a fan of them as much as the others. I did put them through a little bit, but not nearly as much reps as these ones. The next one we're going to move on to is a little bit of a 50-50er. So there's things I really like about this, and there's things I dislike about this. So let's start with the things that I dislike. So I'm going to try to show it off as best as I can. So when I shuffle, you saw that when I shuffled before, I shuffle by taking my cards, and I tend to go from the top corners, and I don't mash because I spread them out. But I go like this, and sometimes they get stuck on each other, right? And you kind of like wiggle them through. And maybe I should change my shuffling technique, but I never had to even thought of changing my shuffling technique because I haven't had an issue like this before, where these are katana sleeves. These are the, let me look at the color here. This is the Iris Bloom color. I got to a point where I was shuffling this, and I was noticing that it's going to be kind of hard to tell. Some of the top corners of them were the plastic almost is, let me get a good singular example card. So from shuffling them that way, the plastic, I don't even know if it's going to show, is almost, can you see? I'm trying to get it to focus on my fingertips. You can kind of almost see it, but the plastic is separating, and it's really hard to show. But there is a physical like lip you could feel on it. But the issue I feel like is going to come from this is, obviously if you continue shuffling, this would just separate the clear plastic from the backing. But then the other thing I feel like it might be is, if you are using these sleeves in tournament play, they could most likely consider that marking the cards. And now from a distance, it's not, you can't really tell, right? But if I bring this up, you can kind of see that some of the cards, the tops of them, actually, well, you really can't because this thing won't focus. Some of the tops of them are noticeably like kind of out of whack, and like skewed and stuff. And I will be honest with you, I maybe have shuffled up and played with this deck. Like actual games, I probably played 2 games with this deck, and just shuffling up, testing hands, and just getting practice on the deck. I mean, like, I don't know how I put that into perspective. Let's say I've shuffled up and played test hands with this deck 20, 25 times. It could be kind of a fluke thing. So with the drawback out of the way, now let's talk about the positive, which is the heavy play deck box here, which is, this is the cheaper of the 2 options. So this is the more expensive option here. This is the cheaper of the 2 options. And man, I honestly am not usually a fan of this type of deck box where it doesn't have an extra compartment on its own. I've kind of grown to the Ultra Pro mentality where I like that I can have the tower and then also have a little die compartment underneath. Whereas this one, I was a little bit hesitant to get this one. I actually got this one first, and I honestly couldn't be more happy with the deck box products from Heavy Play. I genuinely think that these deck boxes are going to be my main going forward. I think that I'm going to prioritize getting these. There's not as much customization options, I will say. So obviously if you're looking to have, you know, like the glitter clear or the solid matte or the glossy, then I think that obviously that will come with time. But right now, these are built with such good quality, and they're built around a whole compartmentalization and modular design. Heavy Play has a really cool thing going with that, and I really think that it's something that you guys, if you haven't looked into, you might want to just check out and pay attention for yourself. My biggest gripe, I will say, between even the 2 Heavy Play deck box products. Now, the deck boxes have these attachable die and token boxes that you can get for them, right? And they can fit both front and backwards. Same for this one. They can fit this way. You can rotate it, flips this way, and then it's just a drawer mechanic, right? So you can, has a magnet that kind of like is like the barrier. So you have to push hard enough to get past that initial magnet, and then it kind of, whoop, and then once you get close enough, it just kind of like slurps itself back in type shit. What I will say is that the deck boxes alone are reasonably priced. They are reasonably priced if you're comparing them to anything. This one gets a little bit pricier because you're paying for more space, because this is the longer version of the more premium deck box. So there's a deck box that is this version, but also not as long. So this one fits 100 plus, and then there's an extra amount that they have labeled there. So obviously I have extra space in this one, and I did that because I just wanted to test the size. So obviously this deck could have fit a smaller deck box, but it was more to kind of get my hands on another option. I will say though, comparative to the cost of the deck box themselves, unless they've changed anything, this one thing here is just difficult to warrant the price of when you compare the cost of this to the deck boxes themselves. So I will have to do a little research. I'll put it on here. Maybe I'm wrong now. Maybe they've changed, they've adjusted, but whenever I went to buy these products, I didn't get a playmat because I just wasn't interested in a hard playmat. I liked the fabric ones, like being roll it up. So that wasn't anything I was going to buy to begin with. But I initially was going to buy this, but I like the idea of it because obviously these ones don't have the Ultra Pro effect where you have something underneath to attach, right? So like the Ultra Pro ones, I don't know if I showed this, but you have a whole dice thing that just snaps on underneath the deck, right? Where having that is great, and I'm assuming that this is going to cost more because you have the option to get it, right? Obviously you don't have to get it, you can get something like this. So there's pros and cons that I understand why they have it priced higher. There's probably a lot more production costs that go into making something like this. It's a lot more moving parts, magnets, but it might be something that you see and might be initially taken back by. But I would keep in mind that this isn't a super, you know, this isn't like a mainstream product line yet. It's newer in the marketplace, and I think that they genuinely are going to be able to compete immediately. I was a little nervous with the deck box and how it is vertically attached, right? So the shelf, right, comes in and out this way. And actually, maybe we do it like this. Maybe the shelf can open up. Well, I can sit here. And the thing, that's actually what I wanted to show you. This will come off before the shelf ever opens, which is the nice thing, right? Because if you have a bunch of die in here, which I only have a few, right? But like I have tokens at the bottom. But if this is only full of die, you don't want to go to set your deck down and God forbid you do a little firm and then the fucking whole shelf slides out and your die is all over the ground. Pros and cons, obviously you saw that it is still magnetically attached, right? So enough force, you know, and it'll come off. But let's hope you're not trying to fastball your deck boxes at somebody. That's obviously not appropriate. The last one being the other deck box from Heavy Play, but also my favorite sleeves, Dragon Shield sleeves. And so I wanted to actually open up a discourse to about the Dragon Shield sleeves, because I hear from people that they have consistent problems with Dragon Shield sleeves. So I have never had a shipment of Dragon Shield sleeves that were miscut or had a problem with like fitment or missing sleeves. So I might be lucky in that regard. It's made me have a slight favoritism towards Dragon Shield. But and I'll just flip them so you can see the color of them. I use a different one for my commander, still a Dragon Shield sleeve. This is like a metallic one, and then this is just a pink Dragon Shield sleeve. Corners are always crisp on Dragon Shield sleeves from my my experience, and they have the larger gap on the top. Let's go big full screen here. They have the larger gap on the top, and that is one of the main proponents I like about them. But with how I shuffle, it makes it so that it's no problem there either. They're usually really crisp and they're thin, right? So they don't have this, I'm not squeezing them, but they don't have that feeling of those katana sleeves that sometimes they felt like the card maybe was too thick and it kind of puffed them up a little bit. I didn't really mind that. I didn't think it was a bad thing, but it is something to think about because that might bother some people, right? So shuffle feel pretty good for these ones. I've always enjoyed it, but it's what I was used to. So it's like my baseline. I'm not, like I said, again, I'm not a great shuffler. I shuffle this way. I don't, you know, do the bridge shuffling or whatever. But they've felt good. They've been consistent. The other big thing for me is, I will say, if you are going to get Dragon Shield sleeves, to me, I never cared about whether the inside of the card is black or not, right? Some people do, and then some Dragon Shield sleeves do have a black interior. And some people think that that changes the look, and some people want that. And to me, you have the options with Dragon Shield to do that. You can get one that is the same color as the exterior of the sleeve on the interior, like how these are. And so that way, you know, it shows through, or you can get black, right? Then it just makes the aesthetic match a little bit more or differently, if that's what you're looking for. I just think that the consistency that I've had with Dragon Shield and the options you have is top notch. The only thing I will say is that I have had one set of Dragon Shield sleeves that I actually was not a fan of, and they are on this deck. And they are the old school ones that I wanted to try, and they're like the glossy ones. And I just will say that the feel on them, they're very like sticky on your hand, right? Not like sticky like as in tacky, but they grip your hand, it will grip them very well, but the shuffling feels atrocious. Because they feel like they're like like the surface area, the surface tension of them are like, you know, like sticking to each other like this as you're going by. Whereas these ones, they glide against each other, which you would think that wouldn't be the case because they have that kind of texture to them that actually allows them to shuffle. I mean, you can even probably see in the video how much easier it is to just have these cards intermingle with each other as opposed to these ones. So my input is that if you are going to get Dragon Shield, anything other than this metallic retro backing one is going to be the way to go. And then if you have a preference outside of that in regards to like if it's the same color on the inside or if it's black on the inside, then that is your preference. You have those options. That's why I think I lead with always enjoying Dragon Shield sleeves the most. So if I were to rank them, Dragon Shield sleeves at the top, it's got to go. It's going to be Dragon Shield, the Ultimate Guard katanas. Then it's going to be the heavy play sleeves, and then the ultra pro sleeves. That's probably the order I would put it in, right? So moving on from the sleeve stuff, let's finish up with talking about our last deck box here, which is the larger premium heavy play deck box. This one is sealed with a magnet, and it's a flip lid. So the magnet is of similar strength to these other ones. I mean, it's like a genuine, like I'm not flicking it back. It's a very strong magnet. And then it has the flip lid. It just flips all the way open. And obviously you guys saw that it has a lot of real estate in here. Here's 100 cards. I'll put them back in so you can see, after even having a full commander deck in there, how much space you have. So let me do that. I'll put the commander back in the front because I'm picky and I like being able to see it. And then I'll just shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. And so after having the commander in, if everything is pressed, this is how much space I still have in the deck box. So worth the space, especially if you have tokens. Like this deck has tokens. I just put the tokens in the back, and even with the infinite tokens and some of the other ones I still have plenty of space in there. I do think that the majority of decks I have would prefer a deck box like this. Most decks I don't think I'm going to want to buy this attachment for. I love this attachment. I love it for this, and I think it works fine. But the majority of the time, this is probably going to be what I pick for decks that have tokens, need die. If I have a deck that's not reliant on any die and is just 100 cards, I will 99% of the time get this. I generally like this so much. And then it leaves you open to the modularity of it. It has the magnets on the back, so if you even have anything that is magnetic, this could possibly incorporate into that. I genuinely think that Heavy Play have something really special going here, and that their product has genuinely impressed me. So right now, even without the dice box, so even without this, which again, don't forget, can attach to the bigger one as well still too. So you can get the bigger one and a dice box. And if, think about it this way, a dice box can attach to the dice box, a deck can attach to the dice box. Like, hold on, let's change camera. I want to show you real quick. There's one deck. So I'm holding this deck, which is magnetized to the deck box, which is magnetized to this other deck. That's how strong the magnets are, just to put it in perspective, right? Obviously, this is probably the easier way because I'm holding the bigger thing, but the smaller deck with the magnets can hold everything else that's bigger than it. Sometimes you like this look, but then sometimes, you know, it's nice. If I had a whole stack of these, I imagine like, wow, this actually be kind of cool looking because then all my commanders can be on display. Or then sometimes I do like this, right? So it's preference. I have a whole group of Ultra Pro. I mean, like, let me just show you real quick. Like, when I say that Ultra Pro is my main deck box, I wasn't kidding, and just to put that in perspective. All right, and so if this helps you guys understand, I love the Ultra Pro deck boxes, and they were fitting that niche that I had. That was like, I wanted something simplistic that fits the deck, but also I can have options, and I have different colors, I have different sizes. You know, you have the dice capability where, you know, I can fit the tokens inside the tower portion. But then think about the space difference, right? If you think about just like surface area. Try to like show you here. Let's do height. So look at even the height, right? Put it in front of my face. I don't care. I mean, look at the height difference even. You know, they're roughly the same width. The Ultra Pro is still wider at its base because it's tapered, right? I think Ultra Pro looks sick. I do think that they have a great aesthetic, and that's why I love them so much. So don't think that I'm just switching up. I won't stop using these deck boxes here. these are my babies here. You guys pick whichever you feel like fits what you want. Even if it's something like this. Even if it's just a nice little quiver. Plastic, like quick access quiver, right? Even that is functional, right? Or if you want something really big, like this thing, right? The game-genic thing that flips up this way, then it flips down this way, and it has this, right? That also is valid too. If you guys have a favorite, let me know. I'm curious as to if there's maybe some niche brands I haven't heard of, or if there's some like lesser known like brand in general that has some really good product that just isn't being talked about enough because it's suppressed by the bigger products. Like, let me know down below if you guys have some cool things. I know that there was actually a deck box somebody showed me one time that they used for their standard deck. That was this thing that like, it would almost like folded diagonally and then it would unfold and reveal the deck, but never contorted their cards. It was very cool, but like I never had heard of it because obviously, you know, I'm only knowing what I'm exposed to, and I'm not going to these events and seeing some of these cool different products that people have. So I'm only knowing what I'm seeing online. And so that's why I opened this course up to you guys. If you have anything that's something cool and something niche that you want me to get my hands on and try, just know that I'm only going to be trying it for commander decks. So make sure it's something that could fit 100 cards. Well, I mean, I could test something that doesn't fit 100 cards, but I'm not going to be able to put it through its reps because I'm going to be playing commander majority in paper. So if you have anything commander related or sleeves, like deck boxes, playmats, things of that nature, I'm definitely willing to try. This playmat, by the way, if you guys weren't aware, I'll do a quick plug for that. You guys are probably well aware though, and you probably saw this sticker here. This here is a Void Monster playmat. Obviously, you guys have probably heard of it if you're in a Magic the Gathering, but if not, the playmat itself is beautiful. And I will say it also helps my camera focus because my mouse pad, my tabletop mouse pad, which is this thing right here, is not enough of a different color for it to have a focal point. So having the playmat actually helps with it focusing. So that is it in regards to the update. I don't know what else I would go over in regards to the quality of them right now. I'm not throwing them around. I'm not beating these things up. So that's the only thing I really haven't gone through is like impact tests. I mean, if you want to throw your deck boxes, you can. Typically mine have cards in them that are worth money and I don't want to be throwing them around. So, but if you want to test them, feel free. Just maybe take your deck out first. But I will say that I am pleasantly surprised with Heavy Play. I genuinely did not expect to have a new favorite brand. And I think they have accomplished that. Truthfully, I think that they have good marketing. I think they have a good design philosophy, and I think that they are entering the TCG environment in a time where people are maybe looking for something new and looking for more options. And I think that they have a really good foothold. And so, I don't know. I'm impressed. I'm happy here. Oh, sorry. The Equip Mag system is their magnetic attach system here. If it'll focus. So it shows you all the magnets, the orientations, and then down here is the actual play mat. So it's showing you how when the play mat's folded up, how the deck box and the dice box, the token box, attach to the play mat itself. So if you're interested in that, it's perfect. The modular system is really cool for people that are looking for a system like that, where you can keep things and attach them and detach them, magnetization. You can attach them and detach them using the magnets on them, making it super easy to assemble and disassemble and move from place to place if you're at tournaments. I'm assuming it's probably very efficient. You're not having to roll stuff up. You're just literally like, it's attached. Like, let me switch back to the camera real quick. It's literally like, if this is the hard play mat, it's like your stuff is like attached, like magnetized, like boop, boop, right? And then this is folded like in half. So you're losing a bunch of surface area when you travel with it, and then you just like unfold it, and these are just attached the whole time. So if you're looking for a modular system, I think that this is probably one of the best ones out on the market for TCG and the TCG environment. Without further ado, I will pass the torch to you. Go out there, my minions, test, get your hands on them, play, fiddle, shuffle, throw, toss, do what you must, but heavy play. Check them out. Katana sleeves. Let me know if there's any consistency issues with katana sleeves as well. I know that people say that Dragon Shield do, but fill me in. Thank you. Love y'all. Peace.